Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight I just want to take a moment and say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, and if you don't celebrate Christmas, I want to say Happy Holidays. Now, this was one of those matches that you don't necessarily think about. I don't know if you guys watched the stream or not, but the stream wrapped up a few hours ago, and then I noticed that Peak and Aaron were doing count-ins, so I was like, you know what, here's my chance for a little bit of revenge. So I decided to jump in the Shima and do a little stream sniping of my own, and lo and behold, it wasn't the way it ended up. So I ended up on their team, which is not what I wanted, but either way, we got Aaron, we got Feel My Flame, we got Peak, we got all the folks. G-Man, I think, is on this. There's a lot of folks watching the stream that is in this particular lobby. Now, this match isn't a particularly high damage game for any of us, but it does showcase a few things that I kind of want to go over and talk about that I think everybody can learn from. Namely, paying attention to the map and trying not to do what my team does in this particular situation, because it really limits what I have to do and how I can help my team the best that I can, even without necessarily getting a ton of damage early on. So, right away, we notice that we're up against a Shima, a Kagero, and a Kaba. Now, we already have a destroyer close by that is off to my left, behind this island. So, you can see I'm using the island for cover as I set up a potential torp strike on these battleships that are kind of all coming into the same area. And I'm looking to hopefully take a hit on one of these guys and maybe, you know, just start a cascade event of just bad people getting dealt with. That's the thought. You get a bunch of battleships like this sailing into one area, that's what we thought. Well, then I noticed that somebody smokes up on the backside of this island firing their guns, and it's a Kaba. Well, it's a very good Kaba player, so I need to take this moment to go ahead and try to get rid of him. I just sent one rack of torps at one of those battleships. Luckily, he got spotted right before I ended up, sending all of my torps into those battleships. Because that allows me to come around the edge here. Now, obviously, I'm located. Most everybody in destroyers that know what they're doing has either perceptive or, what's the other one? Twisted track on their destroyers. Because you need to know where the enemies are. Even in a non-gunboat destroyer, you kind of need to know when somebody's close by and where you're going to get attacked from. So here you can see he's firing in a smoke, and I probably should have waited until I had a better angle to fire both of these, because I think I leave him just a big enough gap to get away. He sees the first ones, he ends up moving, and he gets to dodge these torpedoes, unfortunately. But that's going to, you know, that preoccupies him for a couple of moments here, which gives our team a little bit of a reprieve. Now, you'll also notice that this is not the only destroyer that's over here, as our twist and track is about to change. You'll notice the little direction up at the top of the it's a little semicircle thing up there. It changes. It is no longer pointing at that smoke screen, which means there's another destroyer out here on this left side that's even closer. So here's what I'm going to be doing. Notice this big clump of ships over here on my team. I can't do much to help them when I'm not in a gunboat destroyer, when there's a Kaba right next to me. Like, if I were to engage directly another Shima or whatever, like, that Kaba would rip me apart. Okay, so I have to play this kind of smart. I'm going to do two things. One, I'm going to keep trying to spot these destroyers. And two, I'm going to try to draw attention to these destroyers by my team. Like, you can see Kaba gets detected here. That's not me actually detecting him. I think that's a radar by Aaron. But you can see, because I know there's a second DD out here, I'm about to ping the map. I am not in communication with these guys right now. I'm not in their party. I am literally just jumping into their game, and I wanted to try to stream snipe. So, we're not communicating at all. So I have to use the in-game method of communication to try and get something out of this. Now, you can see I send some torpedoes in the direction of that gigantic clump of battleships. And I am going back here to try to spot this second destroyer, which I am assuming is a Shima. Okay? That is the goal here. And you can see as I go away, I jump into the map, I ping the square that this guy is in to let my teammates know, hey, there's a second destroyer over here. Now, unfortunately, nobody's paying attention until after I get him lit up, right? So I get the guy lit up, It is a guy that watches the channel as well. Again, there was a lot of people in this particular lobby that watched the channel on all of our channels, really. So we get Nico lit up briefly. That's going to let everybody, again, know that, hey, there's a Shima over here. Pay attention. And I'm going to be screening for him. Again, I'm going to be trying to get spots on these guys. I'm not just leaving them. I'm trying to catch them off guard by dumping torps in there to potentially catch the Kaba, potentially catch the Shima. Then I'm going to make a loop back, and I'm going to screen for these guys. What is screening? What do I mean by I am screening? I am screening torpedoes. I am essentially a long-range active sonar for these guys in the back. I can't really push out and look at getting damage here because I'll get murdered. So I do the best that I can to still be of use to my team by trying to spot the torpedoes early enough that everybody can get out of the way. And that is something that other destroyer players just simply never do, ever. You have to do your best to at least do something effective with your type. If you can't push all the time, it's understandable. Look, Kaba's right here. He has lost a lot of health, which is good. You can see I ping him again. If they can get rid of him, I can start to do some more things. Now, I'm not going to sit here and let him get away either. We're going to try to shoot him. Now, he does lock up the brakes, and that's going to keep us from hitting him, and we are now detected. And you can see the shots start coming in immediately. I think he's actually shooting at Aaron at the moment. But you can see even more torpedoes detected, and this is what I'm talking about. Screening for those torpedoes. You know they're there, so try to put yourself in a position that you can spot the torps. Now, unfortunately, he does end up catching Aaron with one of them and finishing Aaron off, and that's just the price of it happening. Now, I've listened back to Peak's version of this, and I heard what Aaron said at the time, and he's absolutely correct. We cannot have this many ships clustered this closely together in a normal match. However, on this particular map, you can get away with it as long as you have people that are actually trying to do good things. Like me, out here trying to spot, I'm trying to screen for torps, keep my guys safe from these gigantic Shima torps. And as you can see, the Minotaur's doing his thing, the Kagero's doing his thing on the other side, because they don't have anybody screening over there. So I'm going to do the best that I can to screen for these guys, as well as put myself in potential. Now that the Kaba's gone, I can handle a 1v1 gunfight with a Shima more often than not. Like, sure, I know Nico's good, but I'm just saying, like, more often than not, I can handle myself in a 1v1 situation. I know what I got to do. So I am going in here specifically to target this Yamato, while also, again, spotting more torpedoes and heading in the direction of this destroyer to get him lit back up and get him out of here. You can see he's just parked. He literally just sets himself in a position where he can continue launch torpedoes if he's left on, if he's left to his own devices. So we immediately start engaging. For whatever reason, all of our shots completely missed that time, which is unfortunate, but you can see I am going to aim higher. We are hitting the Yama over there, and we are trying to finish this guy off. Now, obviously, we don't want to fire our guns again because that gives away our position. The Yama did take a shot at us, but we lived. We did kill the Yama. Now we are going to turn back in and re-engage this Shima. Now we've lost half our hit points, which is not preferable, but this guy lost a lot more than that, and if we can finish him off, that is one last Shima gone. You know, everybody from there on out is pretty easily handled. So I'm going to go over here, spot him up, we get him spotted, we immediately engage him again with the guns, not sitting here relying on torpedoes to take out other destroyers. Okay, it's so much harder to kill things with the torpedoes that can dodge as easily as other destroyers. So, now that we've got that done, there's a couple of ways we can play the ending of this match. First of all, you can see Flame is right next to me. We are not going to stay together at all. We're going to split up. He's going to go back towards the right side and help his division mate, Peak, with the destroyer that's over there and potentially the Mino. We know the Mino was over that direction. I am going to come out this way and head for the win. I'm not chasing the Yami off the map. We already know this. We do not chase kites, right? That is my #1 rule. Well, that and win your side. We don't chase kites. I am playing for the victory. I'm going straight to that enemy cap. Okay? If I happen to detect the Mino, if I happen to detect the destroyer. Now here you'll notice that my twist and track switches to the mid, so I call it out immediately, pinging the map. And within 30 seconds of me pinging the map, watch what happens. Wait for it. We set up our torp strike, and there's the destroyer spotted exactly where I said he was. And how did I figure that out? Well, first of all, twist and track gives me a general location. And the other thing is you use your head. If I was a destroyer in that situation, where would I be? And that's exactly where I would be. I'd be in a position where I could just back out in front of them, drop torps, and go away. So me pinging the map brought attention to him just in time for them to get him spotted and killed. Absolutely beautiful. Now, we haven't done a lot of damage, but we have been very effective as a destroyer, and this is something that I try to bring up as often as I can. And you can see I have launched torpedoes at that Yami. We've gotten rid of the torp threat from the Kagero. Even though we weren't in a position to help really with him at all we did was notice that, hey, I've got a twist and track location over here. If I was here, this is where I would be, and sure enough, that's exactly where he was. We've got torps heading out there. Again, Japanese torpedoes, they go forever, right? So we don't need to chase him. He can't go any further reverse, right? He's literally running out of room to run away. We get 2 torp hits on him. That takes half his health. And then we know that he just got a flood, so he's got a damage con that. So we're going to go into the base here. Now, I obviously am not going to start firing my guns at him right now, because he has too many hit points. Even if I were to get a fire, it's just not worth the risk to me to shoot at him. He's only 9 kilometers away, and battleships can very easily hit destroyers at this kind of range. But you'll notice he does get absolutely blapped here. I don't have torpedoes. With him being at that low health and knowing that he has a damage con on cooldown, I open fire. Why? Because if we can get a fire, plus the damage to the superstructure, you can see 2,200 damage to the superstructure with HE there. And we're going to try to get that fire going, because if we can get a fire, he's a dead man. He fires his guns at us. That saves our teammates. We're able to easily dodge. And then we are going to finally get a fire on the very end of this last salvo here. And that's going to allow us to finish him off. Now, you'll notice that the Mino is also spotted on the other side. But this play guaranteed the win regardless of what happened with everybody else. Okay? And this is just one of those games. Like I said, not a huge damage game, but a very good teaching moments game for people that are trying to learn how to play destroyers effectively. I've never claimed to be the greatest destroyer captain. Okay? There are better players than me out there. But this one really showcases that it's not all about damage, that you can be very effective and still be a very good teammate to your team. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this look at the Shima. It's not all about damage. It's good about positioning, trying to help your team regardless of how they're playing. 88,000 damage, only 4 torp hits in a Shima. I had 33 gun hits in my Shima. Who does that? So if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.